Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a kind of short series with maybe 1 or 2 parts depending on how much we can fit in. And this is based on the tag team tournament with the Westeros Total War Hotseats that we've already completed, so this is a sort of after action report slash overhaul on what my moves were and my teammates as well. As we're going to be recording the finals and uploading it when it's finished, I figured I'd show you guys what we've done in order to get into the finals. So let's begin, shall we? The idea of the tournament is that you have 3 teams, 2 players working together on each team. The first team is Stark and Tully, the Alliance of the North. The second team is Lannister and Joffrey, the Lannister Alliance. And the third team is Renly and Tyrell, the Alliance of the South. Factions like Greyjoy, Aaron, Stannis are not involved in the hot seat and are not involved in the tag team tournament. So they've been turned to rebel factions and are under the control of the AI. You will not hear from them during the course of any of this. The factions and teams for each player are randomly chosen. We got the Alliance of the North, which is Stark and Tully. I played Stark, and my teammate Aldor played Tully. As this tournament is a team-based effort, I had Tully's password, Tully had my password, and we each looked at each other's saves and discussed all of our moves in order to beat the enemy. I don't believe there was a single battle that we did where we didn't discuss it thoroughly. But anyway, let's get right into this. I'll start immediately with our first battle and first bit of combat that we had and slowly go through to the very end of the hot seat. Okay then guys, the first thing we agreed, and remember this isn't me actually doing it when we did the turn, this is after we've already played the hot seat and already won and everything. I'm just basically showing you a rough idea of what we did. First thing we did is agreed that Tully would deal with the Lannister forces while we moved and applied pressure to the crownlands. Throughout all of this, I was supplying Tully with financial aid as well, in order to help him get his shit done. We're starting on turn 2, because fuck all happened on turn 1, as usual. Nothing happens on turn 1. But anyway, we'll go to the next turn and see from Tully's point of view. Okay, I never played these turns. I mean, I spoke to Aldor quite a bit about them and everything, but generally, I know for a fact that he sent some troops. I'm not sure who he sent, but, you know. Like I said, I'm just giving you a rough idea of what the hell this is. If you send him there, you got our Marband who is in the ambush position, which is something for you guys in the future if you're playing your own hot seats. If you find someone in the ambush position like this, he's out of range for me to attack at the moment. But if I move in troops and attack him like this, it lures him out of the ambush, you get defeated. He moves forward and is then in range of my forces and I'm able to kill him. Move in to do this, and then you get this, clear victory. But generally defeating these guys, and pictures will be up on the screen as to the actual battles that took place. Okay, now we're on turn 3. I continue to move towards the crownlands. Joffrey had forted by this point. I believe I would take Antlers or move towards Maidenpool next. I'm not entirely sure. But we'll go as we do over here. It was a long while ago when we did this, so I'm just giving you the basics of what we've done, really. Okay, from Tully's point of view, as I said, you saw the previous fights that we had around here. He lifted the siege of Pink Maiden, defeated Kevin Lannister, who then retreated somewhere off. I don't remember where exactly, but Gregor Clegane's down. Our Marband is just there. I think Clegane bugged out to Stony Sept, which is where you head next. And Tywin Lannister is over here. Okay, turn 4, and I remember what happened now. For some strange reason, Joffrey left this fort undefended over here. I'll show you guys now. Generally, after a long discussion of whether or not we should attack towards Antlers or at the Maidenpool, we decided it's a lot safer and a lot of insurance, you know, to take Maidenpool rather than anything else, which I'll show you guys in the next turn. At this point, I'm still providing financial support for the Tullys, which is paying and helping out them against the Lannisters. Okay, now from Tully's point of view again, this turn's very funny. I came up with this. This move is mine, okay? not entirely mine, obviously. Everything's a team effort in this, but when I looked at Aldor's save, I thought, oh my god, you can actually get away with this. Lannister abandoned this fortification here. So I thought to myself, can we do this? Albeit I've screwed it up. But you can see what I mean in a minute. Generally, those forces I just send over, rather than doing that, you'd build another fort on the way over here and block off that altogether using the enemy's forts. I'll show you in the next turn because you'll be able to see the fort wall that we set up and in order to kill both Kevan Lannister and Tywin Lannister inside their forts. So, turn 5. At Maidenpool, we decided to wait a little and bring some more reinforcements over from Harrenhal before we striked at Maidenpool. This delaying tactic that we did here was, we sort of regretted it a little, because Joffrey then planted a fort here with waters inside, which disallowed us from going across. But Tully has his ships here that allowed him to sail around. I'm not sure if he sailed around. We discussed this. Literally, like, we sat there hours sometimes talking about these turns, trying to get the best outcome and everything. But I think we decided in the end just to siege Maidenpool straight on, rather than any fancy crap that we could have pulled. But we'll see. So, here we are from Tully's point of view. You can see the fort wall that I did. As you can see, those two... What I did wrong was I sent both generals immediately to the fort when I was showing you it. What you need to do is plant them both there at the same time. I don't know. There was another way to do it as well. I was rushing it when I was about to show you guys there, but you can see now what I mean. Using Lannister's own fort against him, we blocked him off from being able to reach us. It was slightly risky because... I think this is why Aldor didn't think of it immediately, because he's a lot more cautious than I am when he's playing. There was a slight risk that someone might be able to reach us via the Golden Tooth Pass, because we didn't have enough fortifications to block that, I don't think, or enough troops in range in order to do it. But this pretty much meant the defeat and death of Tywin Lannister.
Victoire in your name, my lord. Victory.
And his brother Kevin. Killing both of their fucking faction leader and their heir in one serious blow right there. That rhymed.
We are triumphant.
Meanwhile, we hadn't moved on this yet, but we will in the next turn, obviously. But with the death of Tywin Lannister and Kevan Lannister, that put us a giant jump forward ahead of Tyrell and everyone else. We'd killed a faction leader. When it comes to the end and deciding who won, the fact that we'd killed Tywin and Kevan Lannister was quite a big fucking bullet point of what our accomplishments were. But anyway, we'll go to the next turn. Okay, turn 6. You remember that fleet that was at Pink Maiden, Saltpans, sorry, over here, that I mentioned earlier? Tully did use it to sail around and take the corner position here. The problem we had with Maidenpool is if you place all your units in a straight line and Joffrey was to attack, say, Robb, he'd be able to split up our forces. And he'd only have 2, and he might be able to defeat us. That one ship that Tully had over there was a real lifesaver for this, taking Maidenpool at least, because then he was able to bring his forces around the Joffrey's fort that was previously garrisoned, and in doing so, Joffrey got to take Maidenpool. By this point, Lancel was the Lord of Casterly Rock, who had shitty authority, which means that bribing things would now be a hell of a lot easier. Meanwhile, from Tully's point of view, by this time the Tyrells had already started to push slowly into the Westerlands, taking the undefended castles that you didn't have to worry about any of the giant Lannister armies, because all of the giant Lannister armies were on our ass. All of them were just sort of attacking us and ignoring the fucking Reachmen. And meanwhile, we had a fleet over here with no fleet of our own to defend ourselves, coming to take Seaguard and everything else. But I had troops on the way from White Harbour and the Dreadfort, planning to kick them back into the sea, as it were. Meanwhile, down here, we had King Renly and some Stormlander forces moving slowly towards us, which was another problem in itself. Okay, guys, we've jumped ahead a little to turn 7. The previous 6 turns I've been able to get my hands on. The rest of them are all being uploaded via File Dropper, which expires after a certain amount of time. So those files are gone, and I can only get my hands on my enemy's files. And I have the admin password thanks to Duck, because I explained that I wanted to record it, and he was gracious enough to give me the admin password. So thanks, mate. But yes, we can do this. Actually, we won't do that just yet. I'll show you what Tyrell's been up to, shall I? They've taken Craycall, Silverhill. Like I said, they've been basically moving up on the undefended regions of the generally Reach and Westerlands and everything. They're too chicken to attack us right now. Tully and everyone has set up defensive positions along here. But they are moving up. Because Tully and myself sent forces around via sea to take some of the Westerland regions. For instance, Banefort is ours, although Lannister has started to take it back. I do believe Tyrell killed that army, not like I just did, but Joffrey, at this point, and from pretty much the entire rest of the Hotseat, sat in his ass doing completely nothing with all of his ships.
Yes, man. Let me strike.
Pretty much he just sat on the defense waiting for people to attack him, because we'd taken Antlers previously, and our forces have sort of moved back to that fort, while the rest of our forces have gone back over to the Westerlands, that's Riverlands. We're around this general area around here. Now the Lannisters, on the other hand, have been quite busy. They're basically sitting on the defensive in massive debt, not really doing much, losing places across the Isles and everything. They've eventually they've landed in the Riverlands and are going to cause a degree of trouble, unfortunately. They're going to take the Twins, and they're going to take Fair Market from us. But I have my own forces in the north, heading south. I really, really wish that the AI would shut the fuck up when I'm doing commentary. Bloody units sitting there going, "Ah, kill them all, my lord, yes!" Now, we are back from the point of view of my guys now. I have my ships on the way south, especially with these guys on the way south as well. Still keeping an eye on this. I've stopped supporting Tully financially now. We've pretty much destroyed everything in the north, and I don't have much cash left. But at this point, Robb Stark is over here. I do this move. I'm not sure. We've blocked off Renly here, and he's got his forces in here. And we have troops in range of Harrenhal and everything. These guys here are in range of Harrenhal. They can go all the way over here. I'll just show you. They can go all the way over here. So if Renly was to go north and attack Harrenhal, thinking that we didn't have any troops in range, not only would Robb be able to move, although we'll be moving Robb in a second, but those guys would be able to move to Harrenhal, and Edmund Tully would be able to move to Harrenhal as well. So if he moved north, he'd be dead. Well, I can't show you now because it's being retarded. But long story short, we placed the fort right there where Robb was on that side of the bridge, which then blocked off Renly's forces from being able to reach it, and my forces laid siege to this fort here, killed them, and because of the fort that would be there, but as usual, with me demonstrating, I've screwed up and showed you guys. So, we have skipped ahead a little to turn 9. You can see the proper placement of my fort, where I placed it originally, but not stupidly screwed up like it was previously. But in doing so, we've taken this fort here, which kills Lord Cunnington inside, and my forces do this because Renly, seeing that my forces have done all this, legged it and ran like a bitch. Saved his life, but he ran like a bitch. I guess that all of these infantry units couldn't make it out to safety, so that he did all this. But in doing so, my forces, under the command of Robb Stark, moved over and killed them. In killing those guys, we defeated Renly, and that is the only combat that we had, or at least major battle that we had between the north and the south. Renly retreated to the Westerlands and was never heard from again. Okay guys, skipped ahead a little to turn 13, and I'll catch you up on what we've done pretty much. This is pretty much the end of the hot seat right here, where me and Tully just fought. We'll stick on the defensive and hope that the battles that we fought thus far are enough to win the hot seat, and it was. And also the fact that we pretty much locked down all of our borders enough to the point where if Tyrell attacked any of our front lines, that he would get eventually killed if he attacked any of our front lines. If the hot seat continued on, he probably would have been able to take Castle Rock and Lannisport and sail around, but this hot seat's only up to turn 15, and that ends. So it doesn't necessarily matter what the hell happens after turn 15, because, you know, the hot seat's still turn 15. It's do the best that you can in 15 turns kind of thing. We've managed to send more forces down from the north. We retook the Twins from the Lannisters, now laying siege to Seaguard. Now, he could either go back to his ships, we fought at the moment, or he can go towards Harrenhal. So I believe I started to move these troops over here in an attempt, or Tully was going to, using Tyrion likely, to block off this little river here, which would allow my troops to catch him if he went towards Harrenhal. So that would stop him from getting in that direction. Or he'd flee via ship, and which is precisely what he did. So doing that, I thought to myself, okay, we'll bring Robb over here, and then Robb can lead one of these armies when they reach Riverrun. But by the time they reach Riverrun, the hot seat's already over. We've got Karstark and Bolton here, both in range of all the Tully forts that we've got down here, which you'll see in a minute when I show you Tully. But these forces here are in range of everyone. They're in range of the fortifications around here, which Tully takes that fort back pretty soon. In the hot seat, that didn't turn rebel, but it's turned rebel here for some reason. But Tyrell's got troops around here. We had eyes on all these guys, pretty much. Attacking meant getting our asses kicked, probably. Just like him attacking us meant we'd kick his ass, and vice versa and whatnot. But the Lannisters had Castle Rock, Lannisport, and everything locked down, really. And it just stalemate right here, and ended it all. But we'll go to Tully's turn and show you what it looks like from their perspective. But this is pretty much the end of the hot seat. Okay then guys, from Tully's point of view, we had pretty much everything covered, just like my forces were in range of Golden Tooth, Hornvale, and Stony Sept. Tully positioned his troops as well to be in range of all these locations, as well as moving troops over to Riverrun, I believe, in case Tyrell ever landed. But obviously, he only had 2 turns left to go, so Tyrell wasn't going to be a threat. If there was any battles going to be had, they'd be had around here. But neither of us brought up the... I was going to say courage, but it would be stupidity for either of us to attack. Because a defeat at this stage could mean losing the entire hot seat kind of thing. Ah, there he was. We knew this guy was here for the entire turn, so I had Tully lead some troops up there. And I had about half a stack almost in Flint's Finger. So we were just waiting for Westerling to lay siege to Flint's Finger, which then Tully would move over and we'd defeat him. So that would be another win for us if that ever happened, but the hot seat ended before that happened. So anyway guys, generally the hot seat ended at turn 15 and we weighed up all of our victories and all of our accomplishments. Basically me and Tully won on the grounds that we killed Tywin Lannister, we killed Tevin Lannister, we defeated a stack of Renly's troops. We've moved into the Westerlands, we beat the shit out of Lannister pretty much. We just generally won the majority of, and all of our battles. We won every single one of the battles that we fought, other than some small skirmishes along the coastline that weren't of any notice. Where Renly took casualties throughout the entire game, he pretty much just kept getting defeated. Tyrell did an excellent job of pushing up through the Westerlands, taking everything in the Westerlands apart from Lannisport and Casterly Rock. Although you could say Tyrell had a bit of an easy time doing that because the Lannister forces were all facing us and they're a bit preoccupied, so he got away with taking it pretty undefended Westerlands, but still he managed to take all that land and might have eventually, if the hot seat was a normal hot seat, have overpowered us if the hot seat lasted that long, but it doesn't, so. Joffrey, on the other hand, has just camped on the coastline over here. Would have eventually become overrun, but he's generally... anyone that attacked any of Joffrey's lands was going to get pelted by those 2 forces. And obviously we couldn't move enough troops over to attack them without being open to Tyrell and Lannister's forces. But we had Edmund Tully in range of Antlers and Maidenpool as well, keeping an eye on those. But if Joffrey wanted to, he could have pushed into our lands. Obviously, we would have moved more troops over to Harrenhal in that situation, but he could have taken Antlers and Maidenpool, certainly. Although that would have left him open to Renly's forces. But generally, it ended on quite a stalemate, and nothing happened for the last, like, from between turn 14, I don't know, turn 12 to turn 15, pretty much nothing happened. It was just a stalemate sitting here, really. And we won. Yay! Stark and Tully... us, me and Aldor, or me and Badger for the last couple of turns, actually. We came in first place. The Tyrells and Renly came in second, and Lannister and Joffrey came in last. But anyway, guys, that's all for now. I will see you more of this in the continuation. This is like the semi-finals, qualifiers, if you will. We're actually playing in the finals now as the Tyrells and Renly, fighting the Lannisters and Joffrey, you know. Same situation, same scenario, but we're playing as the South rather than the North. And whoever wins that gets a bunch of reputation and SIGs and rewards and stuff. I don't know if there's anything for second place, but at the moment in the finals, Stark and Lannister have kind of gotten their asses kicked outside of Harrenhal. So things are looking up for the Lannisters situation in the finals, and hopefully the South will be able to kick some ass before things are done. I do apologise for the little black bar on the bottom of this at the end of the video here. It's because the... game's windowsed for some reason, and I can't be bothered dealing with that. It's just a little black bar on the bottom of the screen, we'll be fine. Anyway, guys, that's all for now. There'll be an annotation on the top right-hand side leading to the finals when it is uploaded. I have no idea when that will be. It won't be until the finals are complete. There will be a link in the description below leading to the finals and to this hot seat, the semi-finals, qualifiers, whatever the hell you want to do, if you want to see all of the battles that we played. This is just a quick highlight overview of what we did and how we won. That is all for now. I will see you in the finals. Soul out.